solve for the current, and so if you have our current is V is equal to I Z total, right? So I is B over Z total. Now our I value is obviously 200 at 30, so we have 200 at 30 angle. And our Z total here is 300 plus J 75.36, right? So we have a problem because in a polar coordinate, you have to, when it's a division problem, this is a clear division problem, you need to have polar over polar. So this is polar, you got a polar form, but unfortunately this is Cartesian, right? And we need to have polar over polar. So we have to convert this to polar. So we will convert our Cartesian to polar, so we get polar over polar. How do we do that? Well, this is clearly a triangle. So if we look at the triangle, this is 300, J 75.36. All that J means is it's the y-axis. That's all it means, okay? And this is clearly 300. So on the x-axis, from the axis, okay, we have the angle here, okay? So now that we have the angle, okay, we have the angle here. How do we handle this? So we need our hypotenuse is here. Hypotenuse is simply another term for absolute value of z. So we look at the absolute value of z, and we have the hypotenuse. Okay, so now we solve it. Now we get ready, and we say, look, we use the concept of our Pythagorean theorem, which is what? Z, or absolute value z, is 75.36 squared plus 300 squared. We put it in our calculator, we put it here. We get what? We get 75.36, square it, right? Plus 300 squared. We get square root of 95679.1, I don't know, 13, right? Whatever that number is right there. Then we take the square root of that. You take, let's see, square root of 95679.3, and you get 309. Okay, so we have our 309 as the absolute value of z. Okay, and now what we need is the angle. We need hypotenuse and angle. Our angle is simply the arctangent. So what we want to do is arctan of 75.36 over 300, right? Which is really our y over our x. So this is our here. And then what we do is we want to be in degrees. So I'll show up the calculator. And we want to be in degrees. So we want to have second tan, right? Which is inverse tan or arctan. So the tan inverse here is the same. So if I go second tangent, I get tan inverse. It's the same thing as arctan. 75.36 divided by 300 is what? 14.1 degrees, roughly, right? So now what we write is the following. We write I is 230 divided by 309, which is this, at 14.1 degrees, which gives us what? 200 divided by 309 is what? 0.64 amps, as long as I can see the division, right? Your numbers may be off slightly depending on your decimal place. And 30 minus 14.1 gives us what? 15.9 degrees. And that's our amperage. Okay, so that should be 0.64 over here, right? So that's our I.